Assalamualaikum and greetings students. So welcome to the third chapter of this MKT243, and in this video I'm going to explain to you on the market segmentation, targeting and positioning. Basically there are four things that we are going to learn here, which the first one, we're going to look into what are the criteria for successful segmentation. After that, we're going to look into the basis of segmenting consumer markets. And then later, the strategies for selecting target market. And lastly, we're going to look into positioning. So let's get started. First thing first, let's look at what is actually market segmentation. Okay, so the purpose of segmentation is actually to enable marketer to tailor marketing mixes. Remember your 4Ps, right? To meet the needs of one or more specific segments. Okay, as you have learned in chapter 1, market is actually people, right, or even organizations with the needs and wants with the ability and willingness to buy. So market are actually people or potential buyer or your buyers. Okay, and when you talk about a market segment, it is a subgroup of people or organizations which they share one or more characteristics that cause them to have similar product needs. And then we look at the market segmentation. So the definition of market segmentation itself is actually dividing a market into smaller segments with distinct needs, characteristics, or behavior that might require separate marketing strategies or mixes. Look at this particular picture, for example, you will see that there are many types of people, all right? However, even though there are different types of them, you can actually segment them. You can group them into certain characteristics. Okay, with that characteristic, they might require a separate marketing strategies or mixes compared to the other group of people. Okay, for example, in this case, you can see there are men and also women. So typically, a very typical way of segmenting consumer is, of course, by their gender. Okay, so women, they have different needs than men, isn't it? Okay, so we are going to look into the basis later on, all right? But before that, let's look at the criteria for successful segmentation. So there are four of them, basically, the criteria. For the first one is the substantiality. Talking about substantiality, basically, you wanted to segment a market which is profitable. Okay, most importantly, it is profitable. They must be large enough so that you know that when you want to create a product for this particular group of people, there are many people that will be actually buying the product. Okay, and of course, it is profitable to the organization. Secondly, accessibility. To have the access, okay, the firm must be able to reach these particular members of targeted segment with your customized marketing mixes. Okay, number 3 is the responsiveness. A market segment must respond differently to some aspect of the marketing mix than do other segments, in a way that when you talk about responsiveness here, you create a product for kids, for example. Okay, the product are for kids. You say that, okay, when I have this particular candy, right, this candy are actually for the kids. So when you start to sell that particular product, you must make sure that kids are the one who responds towards buying your candy, not the adults or the other way around. Okay, same goes if you are targeting your product for teenagers, right, or to the woman. Make sure that those group of people are the one that responds positively towards your product, but the other segments like men, for example, will not go and buy women's product. Okay, so that is what it means by responsiveness. And lastly, identifiability and measurability, meaning to say the segment, the people, the market, okay, those group of people must be identifiable and their size are measurable. When you talk about, let's say, you are targeting to the kids, how you identify kids? Okay, you can see in terms of their heights, right? Their body size. Of course, kids are normally smaller size than the adults, right? So you can identify, oh, okay, these are kids, all right? And talking about measurability, their size are measurable, meaning you know how many of them. Usually, you are looking at the population for this particular age or population for this particular gender, right? Or some other segments that you can actually measure. Okay, the important thing is that, of course, the size are measurable, and don't forget, number 1 just now, they are profitable. You don't want to actually create a marketing mix, okay, especially the products for a group of people that are very small and they small in terms of number of them, yeah. Their size are very small, and also not many of them are actually buying. Okay, so that is not a successful segmentation. For a successful segmentation, you must make sure that the size are large enough, okay, to be served with a special marketing mix, right, so that you'll be able to earn your profits. Moving on. Oops, what happened? Okay, so we have the basis now, okay? 3.2, we're talking about basis for segmenting consumer market. Now, how you wanted to group them, okay? So a segmentation base, or also known as the segmentation variable, is a characteristics of individuals, groups, or organizations that is used to divide a total market into segment. So market can be actually segmented into a single or even multiple variables. So these are how you can actually segment your markets. All right, so in broad you have through demographics. All right, what are their demographics, as you have learned in chapter 2, and then you can also segment them through geographics in terms of course their location. Okay, and then the psychographics segmentation based on their activities, personalities and values, attitudes. Okay, and lastly you can also segment your market based on behavioral of the market. Okay, be it their benefits that they look into for the product, their usage rates, or even the patterns. So let's first look at geographic segmentation. So a geographic segmentation, it divides the market into different geographical units. All right. So of course, when you talk about geographical units, typically we are looking into the location. Okay, and of course, part of the location is that related very much towards the climate. Okay, the climate, which is frequently used because of its dramatic impact on the residents' needs and purchasing behavior. And as you know now, we can talk about, let's say, during winter, right? In certain country, with the 4 seasons, they have different time frame, yeah. So like in the European countries, their summer is in different month compared to in New Zealand, for example, or even in China and Japan. All right, so talking about this geographic segmentation, you can actually group. Okay, you wanted to sell the product to market in Asia countries. Okay, so but specifically where is it? When we talk about continents, perhaps in Asia, which region? Okay, is it Southeast Asia, right, or is it the North Asia? And let's say you say, okay, we wanted to sell the product to the European countries, right, in the continent of European. So there are many other smaller units of geographic other than the continents. Okay, you can go even to the cities. All right, and of course, other than that, looking at the climate just now, you will know that if you are selling products for summer, okay, during summer, so things are different, totally different, right? The needs and wants of people during summer will be totally different than the needs and wants for people that are having winter season at the moment. Okay, so of course during summer you don't need the heater, right? But during winter you really need heater, right? Or you even need the snow cap, or the what they call it, the sweater, right? And also the many other things to keep you warm during winter. But for the country that has summer, okay, the summer season, so you don't need that. Okay, you don't want to turn on your heater during summer, but rather you wanted to have your air conditioner on during summer. All right, but for the country like Malaysia, for example, we don't have all those 4 seasons. All right, so in Malaysia we have our just sunny and also rainy days anytime during the year, in a period of a year. So people may not want to actually sell even heater also in Malaysia. You don't see many people selling air heater, and every house are equipped with heaters, isn't it? But rather, you might think of air conditioner because our weather here in Malaysia is hot. Okay. Second base for segmentation, like I told you just now, is demographic, which of course you know this is a segmentation which the method is dividing market based on some demographic variables such as gender, age, income, right, ethnic background, and family life cycle, right? So these are some of the examples when you talk about age segmentation with the specific age groups. these are the tremendously attractive markets for a variety of product categories. And again, we're talking about age segmentation. It's very much related to generation that you have learned previously, whether it's for the baby boomers, right? The Z or Z generations, X generation and Y generation. Okay, gender, like I told you just now, things like clothes, okay, footwear, personal care items, or even magazine and cosmetics. All right, commonly these are segmented by gender. Okay. Next is income segment. Of course, you're talking about income level, right, which influence consumers' want and determines their buying power. Okay, so some things that are very, very expensive, but to those people who are very rich, they don't think that those things are expensive. Okay, for people like us, for example, like me myself, I don't see a product like, for example, the Bawal exclusive. Okay, so Bawal exclusive, the price ranging from of course there are a few hundreds to thousand in ringgit for a piece of tudung. Okay, so talking about that piece of tudung with all those things that they claim with the Swarovski lah, the diamonds and whatsoever, so a piece of tudung could be up to 25,000 ringgit Malaysia. So for them, those people with high income level, that 25,000 ringgit Malaysia could be just like our 25 ringgit. Okay, so for us, perhaps you only want to buy tudung or shawls that are actually at a lower prices. Okay, perhaps below 100 or below 50 ringgit. Right, so they can segment based on, okay, let's say I want to sell this particular tudung only for this group of people which have lower income level, which everybody can afford to buy, right? But there are also some brands, okay, some companies, they choose to sell only to the higher income level people. Okay, just like Bawal exclusive just now. If you do not know Bawal exclusive, please Google that. Yeah, right. And lastly, on the family life cycle segmentation, the family life cycle is a series of life stages which are defined by a combination of age, marital status, and also the presence or absence of children. I think I've covered this in our second chapter last week. Okay. The third base is on the behavioral segmentation. Okay, so there are many elements. All right, the first one we can look in terms of the occasions, which this is dividing the market into segment according to occasions. When buyers get the idea to buy it, right, when they actually make the purchase or use the purchase item. Most commonly is during the festive season. So this behavioral segmentation, you will see that only during certain period of time, okay, certain occasion. For example, when you talk about Hari Raya, right? So when Hari Raya is around the corner, of course, we start with bulan Ramadan or bulan puasa first, right? The fasting month. So people get the idea to buy. All right, so for Hari Raya, we need the cookies, the cake lapis, or the new clothes, new shoes, and so on. Okay, so people already get the idea before the Hari Raya itself. Okay, normally happening during the fasting month or bulan Ramadan. Okay, so people actually get the idea, okay, for Hari Raya, these are the cakes that I wanted to buy, the cookies that I want to make. Okay, so they get the idea during that Ramadan or before the Hari Raya itself. And then when would they actually make their purchase? Of course, you will not make the purchase on the day of Hari Raya itself, right? So perhaps it's about 5 days before, especially when you talk about your Baju Raya. But cookies or cakes, maybe it's 1 week before or 2 weeks before Hari Raya, you start to actually make the purchases. Okay, and the use of the product could be during the Hari Raya itself, right? So that is when we talk about the occasion. Next one, in the behavioral segmentation, there is an element of benefits, all right? So benefits here, people buy things with different purposes. Okay, so in benefit sort segmentation, we are dividing the market into segments according to the different benefits that consumers seek from the product. Okay, so for example, sport shoes. Okay, for sport shoes, for athletes when they wanted to, especially runners, okay, like for example that Usain Bolt, okay, or whoever that football players, for example, right? So they are athletes. When they are looking for sport shoes, for them is something that makes, or the benefits that will give them is that they can run faster, okay, or they can kick the ball further away, right, and so on. It has some kind of function. But to normal people who are non-athletes, all right, for the non-athletes, perhaps they wanted to have a sport shoes just for a health conscious, or even they buy sport shoes or wear sport shoes just for the sake of comfortability, because the sport shoes are very comfortable to wear compared to other types of shoes. all right, with the cushion, with the soft inner lining and so on, all right. Those are benefits that people look for the non-athletes people. But for the athletes, all right, the benefit that they will sought will be based on the functions, the performance that particular shoes can add to their sports, okay, or their activities, all right. Other than that, there is also a usage rate in this particular behavioral segmentation, whereby this is dividing market by the amount of product bought or consumed. Alright, so this is actually the frequency of use or consumption for a product in a period of time. How frequent that they use that particular product. Are you a light user, a medium user, heavy user of a product, and so on. Okay, so it could be like, for example, when would you actually consume your soft drinks? Okay, do you need to drink soft drink every day? So that means you are a heavy user of the product. Example, like you drink Coca-Cola every day, so you are a heavy user of Coca-Cola, right? Or perhaps you only drink Coca-Cola in a certain time, or during summer only, right? So could be a medium user or light user, all right? Or even non-user at all, meaning you don't drink Coke at all, all right? So that is talking about the usage rate. Other than that, also, we can look in terms of the patterns, all right, usage rate in terms of its pattern by looking at the loyalty status, all right. Consumer can be loyal to a brand, or if it's not a brand, they can be also loyal to a store or a shop, okay, or even a company. Example, like when you become a completely loyal, meaning you only loyal to one particular brand. Typically Apple users lah, right? So normally they are called these Maxiliates or Macolite or even Makehates, which they only buy Apple products. They don't want any other gadgets brand, okay? Whatever they want to buy, their phones, of course, iPhone. Their laptop will be their MacBook, okay? The watch will be the iWatch, and then what else? AirPods, right? And then what else Apple has? Many things lah, right? So everything is about Apple. No, they don't mix this particular product brand with other brands. Second type of loyalty is somewhat loyal, all right? Somewhat loyal meaning to say this person, the market, are loyal to 2 or 3 brands or favor one brand while sometimes will buy others. Okay, so somehow or other, perhaps these are related to most of the clothing brands lah. Clothing brands, yeah. Sometimes you only buy from that particular brand, H&M, for example. So every time you wanted to buy new shirts, new blouse, or new pants, you will go to H&M. But sometimes also you go to Uniqlo, right? Or sometimes you think that, oh, okay, I want to go for Mango or Topshop and so on, right? So these are, you are loyal to somehow 2 or 3 brands, right? And you will go around only this brand, okay? Go around only this brand. And then another loyalty status, the completely, what they call it, opposite of this complete loyal, of course, no loyalty at all, okay? No loyalty, meaning to say, wanting for something different or simply buy whenever the product or brand is on sale, okay? So you don't really bother to look at the brands, but rather than concerning, okay, I want to buy only from H&M, or I want only to buy from Nike and Adidas. But then somehow or other, when you see other brands are also on sale, then you might just want to buy. It doesn't matter, or it doesn't bother you at all to use different types of brands for the product that you are buying, as long as it's cheap. Okay, so there are people who have no loyalty at all. Or some people also could be completely loyal to some type of particular product, like the gadgets, for example. They're completely loyal. But for clothing brand, perhaps they're somewhat loyal. And for groceries items, for example, they have no loyalty at all. Okay. And the last one for the basis for segmenting consumer market is on psychographic segmentation. Okay, so this is dividing a market into different segments based on activities, lifestyle, attitude, personality, or characteristics. Looking at the lifestyle, normally is related to the time spent or things that value with socioeconomic characteristics, such as with the job, income, and also education. This is very much related to what people like to do every day. Okay, so some people, their lifestyle is to have a healthy lifestyle like this. Okay, so things that they might want to be, that like to buy, okay, things are related to healthy lifestyle. Okay, some people like to go traveling, some people like to go shopping. All right, so yeah, this is all related to the lifestyle that they would like to have. Right. Next one is the personality or characteristics, which these are the traits, attitudes, and also habits. Some of the example of this personality, you can look into this five big personality traits, yeah, or big five personality traits, which some people are open to experience, some are not. Okay, so you are either inventive or curious versus consistent or cautious type of person. Okay, the conscientiousness, the efficient or organized, or even compared to those people who are easygoing or careless kind of people. All right. Yeah, you can read just through all of this. Okay, so segment also can be customer or market also can be segmented into this personality, because marketers are able to see people's personality or characteristics. Okay, what type of characteristics that this person has, and this particular brand or this particular product are very suitable for them. Okay, moving on to the third part of this chapter, which is in terms of the strategy to select the target market. Now, you have done the segmentation just now, all right? Meaning to say, you already know you wanted to create a product, okay, for this group of people. But who are these people actually? Okay, so this is when you talk about the target markets, which is a group of people or organization for which organization designs, implements, and maintain a marketing mix to fit the need of that group or groups, resulting in mutually satisfying exchanges. So let's look at what are the strategies. There are three strategies that we're going to learn here. The first one is the undifferentiated marketing strategy. Okay, multi-segment marketing strategy, and also concentrated marketing strategy. So remember, this marketing strategy is related to how you want to do your market targeting, okay, or target market strategy. First, the undifferentiated strategy. Okay, what happened here? When you talk about undifferentiated, meaning there's no different, right? No different, meaning a firm might decide to ignore market segment differences, okay, and target the whole market with only one offer. This is also known as the mass marketing strategy, which focusing on what is common in the needs of consumer rather than on what is the difference between them. Okay, basically, in this particular undifferentiated strategy, you have only one marketing mix, okay, your marketing mix to all buyers in one segment. Okay, to all buyers in one segment. A very good example of this undifferentiated marketing strategy is drinking water. Okay, most of the companies or drinking water companies, yeah, that produces drinking water, you know, the mineral water, but it's not even mineral inside, it's just drinking water, or it's an RO water, right? So they have this water, and they do not target this particular water only can be consumed by kids, or this water only can be consumed by female, or this water only can be consumed by baby boomers. No. Okay, so the drinking waters, as you can see, all the bottled waters in the supermarkets, yeah, they can be bought or targeted to everybody. Okay, all the people, no matter what is your age, you need water. All right, so all buyers in this particular one segment with one offering, meaning one particular product that you sell for everybody. Okay, so that is undifferentiated marketing. Next is the multi-segment marketing. All right, from the word multi-segment, meaning you have multi. You are targeting several different market segments and design separate offers for each, which your goal is to achieve higher sales and stronger position. However, this strategy is more expensive, okay, because you are required to produce different products, okay, for different group of people. This is how it look like. Okay, so you have one marketing mix, okay, one product A, for example, for group of people in segment 1, and then you have product B, second marketing mix, all right, for another group of people in segment 2. Okay, 3 for the third product for third group of people, and fourth product for a fourth group of people, which all of these are a different type of people which requires different types of product. A very good example is like the simplest one is shampoo. Okay, you know shampoo. So many companies that they produce shampoo, they will have different type of shampoo. Why would they produce different type of shampoo? Shampoo for curly hair, what else? For rebonding hair, for colored hair, anti-dandruff shampoo, shampoo to scalp care, you know. So different types of shampoo, meaning you have different marketing mix here for different segment. So people which have problems with dandruff, for example, might buy that particular anti-dandruff shampoo. Okay, so those people that color their hair, all right, so they might want to have a shampoo that color protection kind of shampoo, so they will buy this particular shampoo. Right, in segment 3, for example, a hair fall control kind of people that have problems with hair fall. Okay, so they might want to buy a hair fall control shampoo. Okay, and then people who do rebonding for their hair, perhaps they wanted to have a silky straight kind of shampoo that helps to maintain their rebonding. All right, so these are different segments which requires different products from the same company. All right, so that is what it means by the multi-segment marketing. Lastly, the concentrated marketing. Okay, concentrated marketing is also known as niche marketing, which the company normally will target a small share of a large market with the mind in their mind is that although this particular market there you are only targeting towards the small share of them, right, not many of them, however they are heavy user or they consume the product frequently. All right, because normally you don't want to do multi-segment because of the limited company resources. That's why you go and concentrate into only one small niche. Okay, and this particular company typically will have a very good or comprehensive knowledge of the market, and normally this concentrated marketing are more effective and efficient. All right, you can see here example like Starbucks, okay, or even Dunkin' Donuts. So as you know, Starbucks, let me explain to you about Dunkin' Donuts, or even here in our state, we have the Big Apple Donuts, right? So Big Apple is one of the company that do this concentrated marketing or niche marketing because what they offer is only one type of product, which is donuts. Okay, donuts. But although they just sell donuts, all right, that they have many variety of donuts that they can offer. Okay, of course, different flavors, okay, or shapes or colors of the donuts. Right, same goes to Starbucks. They offers coffee most of the time. Their main products are coffee. Of course, they do have some tea, juices, some food, and also merchandise. But their main product that they are selling is actually coffee. Okay, but it is not just a coffee, but they have many types of coffee. Okay, with different type of brewing of the coffee, flavor of the coffee, types of the ways to serve that particular coffee. Okay, so there are many. So they become a niche in the way that they only sell this kind of product, but to this group of people which are considered strong in the way that they always buy that particular product. This is how it looks like. Okay, same like the what they call it, multi-segment, but it's only one segment. Okay, and with one marketing mix. All right, so coffee, so they have the coffee, but not only just the kopi o, right? They also have the latte, they have their frappuccino, they have their cappuccino, and whatever types of brewing kind of coffee that they offer to those people who love to drink coffee. And those people who love to drink coffee are many. Okay, there are many of them. All right, so that's why they can actually afford to offer only that particular marketing mix to this group of people. Last part of this chapter is on positioning. Okay, so bear in mind when I talk about positioning strategy, we're talking about a position which is not somewhere around the world here, but this is the place a product, a brand, or even group of products occupies in the consumer's mind. Okay, in the consumer's mind. Position meaning in the consumer minds relative to competing offerings. Okay, so product position is the way the product is defined by consumers on some of the important attributes. Okay, so in which this is the place the product occupies in consumer minds relative to the competing brands or products, right? Like for example, where do you put when I say a brand, okay, like a Ferrari car, for example, a Ferrari brand. So when you imagine Ferrari car, where is that position? Is it in the high kind of level of car, good car, or a poor car? Okay, if I mention the brand Maggi, for example, okay, so where do you put in your mind whether it is actually a frequently purchased, a favorable brand or not favorable brand? If I mention Colgate, or I mention Darlie, for example, okay, so somehow or other it is in the mind of the consumer, which they might think, oh, okay, if I want to buy a toothpaste, okay, should you buy Darlie or should you buy Safi? Or should you buy Colgate or you should buy Systema? All right. So these are the position in which those brands are arranged or ranked in the consumer's mind. Now let's look at the last part of this particular positioning strategy, which is on the positioning basis. Okay. So positioning basis can be done in this particular 6 basis, all right, by attribute, price and quality, use or application, product user, product class, and also the competitors. So when you talk about positioning based on the attribute, okay, which is the association of a product with a product feature, an attribute, or customer benefits. Meaning if you want to get that particular benefits, you can actually position your product based on its attribute, okay, on how good it is. For example, iPhone, okay, Apple iPhone. Talking about this particular iPhone, yeah, their product feature is their iOS. Okay, so when people heard about iPhone, they know that only in iPhone that the attribute or the product feature is the processor is using the what they call that thing again, the iOS. Yeah, the iOS. While other phones might be using their other. Most of them are using the Android, isn't it? Okay, some are using the Microsoft and so on. Okay, so you can talk about the attribute of how good the benefit of this particular iOS, for example, so that people will always think that, oh, okay, when you buy Apple products, which is this iPhone, right, it is using the iOS. Okay, second way of you positioning your product is based on price and quality. Of course, this one, the higher the price, it symbolizes a higher quality, right? Or somehow or the low prices could be as indicator not poor product but a value for money. Okay, so when you talk about certain brands that are expensive, okay, so yes, you can do that because you want to show that how good is the quality of the product. So people will always think if you want to buy things that are expensive, sorry, if you want to buy that things that are high quality, of course you need to spend more money. Okay, while things that are cheap, not really necessarily you can say that I'm selling a very cheap product, meaning it's a low, poor quality product. No, okay, but you are saying that I'm selling a cheap product to give you value for money kind of things. All right. Number 3 is the use or application. These are the positioning bases on stressing of the use or application of that particular product. Okay, whenever you think of, let's say, the Clorox, okay, you know Clorox, right? That bleach, okay, the bleach. So Clorox is known as a bleach that will make things white, all right, that make things white. So the application is that if you want to make your shirt lah, normally, right, the shirts or your piece of cloth brighter, white and shinier, so you use Clorox. So that is how Clorox position their product based on the use or the application of it. All right. Next one is the product user, which you are positioning based on focusing of a personality or type of user. Okay. Product user typically related to products which are targeted towards this certain type of user, especially like the sports brands, yeah, sports brand. They normally uses this product user kind of positioning based on a person, like the athlete itself. Okay, or even when you watch advertisement on Colgate also, right? For example, they always make use of this a dentist. Okay, a dentist, which shows that if you want to use the toothpaste which is recommended by dentists, okay, because of, you know, the user of dentist is the one that actually take care of the teeth, right or not? Okay, so as a product user, for Colgate, for example, meaning to say if you use Colgate, you are actually listening to your dentist. All right, so that is what it means by product user. Next is product class. This product class is positioned as associated with a particular category of product. Okay. Now, not every product can be using this, okay, because it somehow there must be a very strong or well-known brand, or perhaps you are the first brand or first company that introduced the product. Then you can actually use this positioning based on the product class. For example, you're talking about the Panadol. Okay, Panadol. Panadol is known to everybody as this what they call it, a medicine for your headache or a slight fever and so on, right? So Panadol able to position their brand as a product class because regardless of whatever paracetamol that you are buying, you still call it Panadol. All right. But rather than buying the Panadol itself, you could be buying other brands of the paracetamol, right? Because Panadol is actually paracetamols, or paracetamols is actually Panadol. One of the brand for selling paracetamol is actually Panadol. Okay, so other than that, perhaps Colgate also one of it, when you can actually use as a product class, because you say, okay, I want to buy Colgate, but regardless of whatever brand that you take at the supermarket or at the pharmacies, that's still Darlie, for example, or Maggi. Okay, when you say, okay, I want to buy Maggi, the instant noodle Maggi, but rather than taking, other than taking Maggi, you also take the other instant noodle brands, but you still call all of them as Maggi. Okay, so that is when the company are able to position their product as the product class itself. Right, and lastly, the competitors, which you are positioning against competitors as part of your every positioning strategy. Here, you are typically making use of whatever competitors icons or whatever competitors symbols or other positioning that competitors are using. You also use that as part of your positioning strategy. A very good example is when McDonald's and Burger King, yeah. So Burger King always use the competitors, which is the McDonald's, as part of their positioning base. Like you can see, one of the famous slogan of Burger King is that they says that, why eat with the clown when you can eat with the king? Okay, so it positions that you know, clown, because McDonald's icon is actually mascot is the Ronald McDonald's, right? It's a clown, all right. And then Burger King, of course, is a king's burger, all right, because from the name itself, Burger King, all right. So that's why they say, why you want to eat with a clown when you can eat with a king? Of course, people will think like clown is something like a joke. Okay, people don't really what they call it, look up into towards this particular clown, right? But rather people will want to eat with the king. Okay, so that is one of the strategy that Burger King is using, which is on the competitors base. All right, and many companies, they don't only just use one. Okay, typically they might use one or more positioning bases, right, to combine a few, all right, one or two or three positioning bases to create a memorable or a very outstanding position in the consumer's mind. Okay, so with that, we finish our chapter 3. So if you have any questions, do ask me in our Telegram chat. Thank you guys. Bye bye.